Hi, my name is Dorothy, and I'm a librarian at the Thomas Crane Library in Quincy. I'm here today to tell you about a couple of books you might enjoy: Raising Demons and Life Among the Savages, both by Shirley Jackson. Now, Shirley Jackson is, of course, well known for her unsettling and terrifying stories and novels like The Haunting of Hill House, The Lottery, and We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Her writing had another side to it, though. She was really, really funny. And in these books, she writes the true story of how she adjusted from life in New York City, living among writers and artists, to living in a small town in Vermont with her husband and small children. She's a bit of a fish out of water, and hilarity ensues. These books are perfect for anyone looking for a good laugh or a bit of an escape. They're both available as audiobooks on Hoopla, which is great because it means you can access them right away. You don't need to wait for holds. You don't even need to leave your living room. If you would like to learn more about Hoopla, or if you would like a librarian to help you go through the process of downloading it and accessing these audiobooks, you can visit thomascranelibrary.org. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
My name is Jessie. I'm a librarian at the Thomas Crane Library, and I'm going to tell you about a book I think you might enjoy. It's the 2019 best-selling novel by Alex Harrow titled The 10,000 Doors of January. This tale of love, adventure, and danger set in the early 1900s begins with a question. What if there really are doors to other worlds, and what if you had the power to open them and step inside? Enter January Scholar, the rebellious ward of the rich and mysterious Cornelius Locke, who employs January's father to circle the world in search of priceless artifacts, and who seems determined to keep January tethered to the Locke estate in Vermont, a house that feels more like a museum or a prison than it does a home. What makes January so special and so valuable to Mr. Locke and a so-called society of other collectors? When, on the eve of January's 17th birthday, she finds an old leather-bound book inside a magic box, this story within a story takes off. Even if fantasy and coming-of-age stories are not necessarily your thing, if you like a book that can transport you into a fully realized world of its own, with vivid characters you'll remember long after you've read the last page, and an ending that will make you wish you could find a door or two of your own, then give this book a try. And if you enjoyed this book, you may also enjoy The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater and The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. All these titles are available as ebooks and e-audiobooks from the Thomas Crane Public Library. Go to our website and find them on Hoopla and Overdrive. Thank you, and stay safe.
Hey everyone, Shane here, and today on Shane's Suggestions I will be talking to you about the Belgian film El Dorado, which stars Bully Lanners, who also directed the film, and Fabrice Ade. So El Dorado had actually been on my radar for quite some time now, as it kept popping up on the related videos queue in Canopy. While I tend to disregard related videos due to being burnt a few times, the thumbnail picture of the two disheveled characters looking pretty shady in a convenience store prompted me to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. So on the surface, El Dorado is a road trip movie, but like most films of its ilk, it is actually an in-depth examination of the characters taking the voyage. Here we have Yvonne, a quick-tempered 40-year-old vintage car dealer, and Ellie, a young burglar and ex-junkie. And while the background stories of the two characters are compelling enough, it is the dynamic of these two dysfunctional people as they make their way from the countryside of Belgium to the big city of Brussels, a highly entertaining and thoroughly heartbreaking film. So for anyone who's willing to follow these two outcasts as they look for the answers to questions that they cannot truly ask themselves, I suggest that you allow El Dorado to show you the way.
Welcome. My name is Amanda, and I am one of the children's librarians at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, Massachusetts. This video is part of our DIY Children's Programs resources. For more program resources, as well as ebooks, streaming movies, TV, music, and much more, please visit thomascranelibrary.org. Today, we're going to make a stop-motion movie. Stop motion is a fun way to make an animated movie with just a smartphone or tablet and some toys you have in your home. For this activity, you will need a smartphone or tablet with one of the many stop-motion apps loaded onto it. You can find a stop-motion app by searching stop motion in any app store. Parents and caregivers, please note that while most of these apps are free, some of them do have in-app purchases to unlock more advanced features. We're not going to be using any of those advanced features today. I'm going to be using Stop Motion Studio on an iPhone with no additional features unlocked. You will also need a way to prop up your phone or tablet that leaves the camera free, and you will need toys and other objects to use in your movie. You're also going to need a space to film. You want it to be somewhere where you're not going to get interrupted, and the items that you're using won't get moved in between shots. Once you're ready, let's get started. As you can see, I've set up a little stage on a table. I'm using a box to prop up my phone. Start a new recording, and you can start taking pictures. I'm taking a first one to set the stage, then moving my horse figure. As you can see, this takes a little bit of time. You're going to need some patience while you're making your movie. Stop motion animation means that you are doing motion and then stopping, and then doing more motion, and then stopping. It does take quite a bit of time to make a very short movie. This is how all animation works. Animation made by digital animation or animation using traditional drawn methods is doing the same sort of thing. It just moves so fast that you can't tell that they're individual pictures. As you can see, I'm adding figures into the shot. This is a very simple movie using only a couple of items, and I'm only moving them a little bit each time. If you move them too much each time, they'll look like they are moving faster once the movie continues on. If you have your own toys to play with, you can decide what you want to do yourself. Do you want to try and make an explosion? You could draw it on paper and add it to a shot when the explosion happens. Do you want to try and make things fly? That might be tricky. You'll have to use your imagination to figure out how to do that. In between moving each figure, I'm taking a photo. What the stop motion app does is takes each photo and then lines them all up to make a movie when you're done. Each of these photos is only making up a very tiny amount of time in your finished movie. Your stage can be just about anything or anywhere. I've used a white paper bag just to make a nice clean surface. Do you have Legos around your house? You could use those. Clay is a wonderful thing to use for a stop-motion animation because you can change it just a little bit each time. Movies that are made with clay and stop motion are often called claymation movies. There are a lot of different examples of those, but Shaun the Sheep is one you may be familiar with. Notice I've removed a figure at this point. That's because I want that figure out of the shot now. When it's animated, you won't see my hands. You can set many stop-motion apps to take pictures on a timer, giving you a certain amount of time between shots so that you don't have to hit that record button every single time you want a new shot. Beware though, when you do this, that can mean your hands end up in the shot if you're not fast enough. On one hand, that can be kind of funny. On the other hand, sometimes you don't want that. The other nice thing about stop-motion animation is that if something falls over or breaks or doesn't look quite right, you don't have to take the photo. You can set it just right before taking the picture. Notice I've moved the tiny horse a lot further in between each shot. That's because I want it to be moving faster at the end of the movie, as if it's trying to catch up with its friends. Now let's see how it looks. Stop Motion Studio lets me see part of the movie that I've just recorded. To see the whole thing, I'll have to go back out to my projects. Now I can scroll through all my shots and see how the movie looks shot by shot. When I get to the beginning, I can start from the very start. Tapping on one shot will let you edit things. This may not be exactly how it's done in every app, but in Stop Motion Studio, that is how it's done. Now you can see my movie with the horses entering, circling around, and the little one chasing its friends out. Here's our movie. Thanks for watching.
Hi everyone. Good morning. This is Michaela Miller, my granddaughter, and I'm Mrs. Miller from the Thomas Crane Library. Can you wave hi to everybody? Say hi. How old are you, Michaela?
Hi.
No, 4. 4. Good morning. As I said, I'm Mrs. Miller from the Thomas Crane Library. We miss all of our parents and children, and even the adult patrons that wander through the children's room looking for a good read. It's not easy to change our daily routines, going to work, going to school, playing with our friends, or parents having to plan play dates with their little ones. But we are in a situation that our lives have changed, been put on hold for our daily routines. Even mine has changed. No Mother Goose, no Rockabye Baby, and not helping children coming in, picking out books or movies or even graphic novels. Today I'm going to read a story that I wrote and illustrated many years ago when I was in college. The title of the book is about The Big Pop, and it's about a lonely red balloon. Hope you enjoyed this story. The Big Pop by Jane Finley Miller. Once upon a time, there was a lonely red balloon who lived all by himself in a circus. There were no other balloons where Red Balloon lived. Red Balloon wanted to find another balloon to talk and play with him. So, one bright sunny day, Red Balloon lifted off and floated away. He floated over the circus, over the meadow, beyond the pond, and into the country, where he could see trees and birds. Suddenly, Red saw a bright yellow spot in the sky. First, Red thought the spot was the sun, but no. As it moved closer and closer, Red could see the yellow spot was a beautiful round yellow balloon. Red Balloon floated towards Yellow Balloon. He greeted him with a happy smile and a lusty hello. Then a strange thing happened. Yellow Balloon and Red Balloon passed by each other, and a new balloon came. Orange Balloon. How frightened Red and Yellow were. They could see Orange Balloon, but couldn't talk to each other. Orange Balloon did not talk. Red and Yellow kept making orange and disappearing themselves. So frightened were Red and Yellow, they floated off away from each other, turned, and much to their surprise, they saw twin blue balloons. 2 blue balloons, twins, look-alikes. Red and Yellow were so delighted they forgot they were frightened and started to dance and play with the Blue twins. When all of a sudden, Yellow said, "Look, Red, look, Blue, another balloon." Red and Blue had danced together and made a purple balloon. Then Red Balloon said, "Look, Yellow, look, Blue, another balloon." Yellow and Blue had danced together and made a green balloon. The balloons kept dancing and playing together, having so much fun they forgot to be afraid of the new colors. Red and Yellow making orange, Yellow and Blue making green, Blue and Red making purple, in and out, up and down, over and under, this side and that side. Such excitement, such color. The balloons danced faster and faster and faster until suddenly there was a big pop. All the balloons exploded. But what did this large explosion make? It made a beautiful rainbow in the sky. Someday, if you should see a rainbow in the sky, maybe it was made by some lonely balloons dancing and playing together. I hope you enjoyed the story and it puts a smile on your face. So many of us are saddened by not doing the things that we would like to do, but it will come to an end soon. So I would like all of you to make your own rainbow. Draw a special wish at the end of it. Some examples might be visiting your grandparents, playing with your friends, seeing your teachers, or going to the playground. You think about it, then put it on your window or on your door. And if you are tech savvy, you can take a picture and put it on the Thomas Crane Library's Facebook. I'll be looking for all those rainbows. Until we meet again, I wish all of you a safe and healthy stay during this hard time. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name's Paul. I'm one of the librarians at Thomas Crane Public Library, and I'm here today to talk about RB Digital. It's a digital magazine resource that we have for patrons of the Thomas Crane Library. And with me today to talk about RB Digital are my colleagues Eileen. Hi Eileen, how are you doing today?
Hi.
Hi, good to see you. And Carrie. Carrie, how are you?
Well, I'm good. Thank you very much for having me on today.
Absolutely. RB Digital, like I said, it's a digital resource with magazines. So we have other resources that have books and videos and things like that, but this resource specializes in magazines and hundreds of different titles of a lot of different genres. And Eileen, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about what patrons can expect when using RB Digital.
So you can access RB Digital on your computer, your desktop, your laptop, or you can download the free app, which can be on your tablet or smartphone, and you get unlimited checkouts, and they last forever. I just recently noticed that my checkouts from 5 years ago are still there. So that's pretty handy. You can get a nice little personalized library of your favorite periodicals, and enjoy them unlimited amount of time. So
yeah, it's a really convenient resource in that way, especially I think it used to be called Zinio. So some patrons might have used that app, wondered where it went, and it became RB Digital. So some of those magazines actually might have been things you had on Zinio. So if you use that app and then you log into this, you might see some of your old content resurface for you to enjoy. Carrie, do you think you could maybe give us an idea of the scope of RB Digital?
Yeah, so RB Digital has content for all ages, like we'd mentioned before. We have everything from, news magazines to parenting magazines to magazines specifically for kids or teens. So all ages, it covers the full spectrum of interests. There are things that talk to specific hobbies. There are things that talk to fashion. So it's got a very wide scope of what sort of resources are included in the service.
Yeah, and that's another one of the really nice things is it feels like when I search on RB Digital, almost any sort of genre, no matter how niche it is, you can find something on it. So actually what I'm going to do is go ahead and show everyone what they can expect when accessing RB Digital from our website. So here I am at thomascranepubliclibrary.org, and if you go up to our books link and scroll down to Read Now, you'll see a whole list of different e-resources that we have. But if you go on to the left, we have a link for e-magazines. Clicking on that link is what's going to bring you to RB Digital. Now, you do want to access it through this link because this is how they do the handshaking so that they know you're one of our patrons. So if you click on this link right here, it will take you to RB Digital site where you can sign up for an account using your library card and your PIN number. So what we're going to do now is talk about some of the different resources that we think we would enjoy and think that you might enjoy as well. So Eileen, if you could talk about your first resource that you like on RB Digital.
Yeah, my first pick is Taste of Home. I remember getting Taste of Home physically in the mail 20 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's a recipe magazine that's kind of crowd sourced of like regular home cooks, regular people, and I really liked that they had pictures of the people. It was really something you can relate to, and it's very simple home cooked meals. It looks like they did a little revamp of their style in the past few years, but it looks like it's still a very much relatable cooking magazine for home cooks, and it's just beautiful pictures, and you could get lost in there forever. Well,
and recipes never go out of style, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of a nice thing about this resource as well. It kind of collects those things that are still useful, but maybe haven't been issued in books.
Right.
Carrie, give us a little idea of what you found enjoyable on RB Digital.
So if you know me, you know I'm a big news junkie, a big political junkie. So one of the resources that I really love on RB Digital is Newsweek. Newsweek is a weekly news magazine journal. It covers all areas of the news, both national and international, and it is issued weekly. It is now all digital, so having access to it on RB Digital for free is a really great resource to have.
Okay, I didn't realize it went all digital, but yeah, that makes it extra handy now that they're making it for that format. So something that I found interesting is Wired. I used to get a subscription to Wired back in the day, and that subscription ceased probably 5 or so years ago, so I was happy to see that they still had it on here for whenever I wanted to browse through it. Just about computers and technology, touching on how computers and technology are affecting us on a daily basis, and you can see a lot of interesting, like a variety in the type of articles touching on technology. Some of them are very technical, and other things are a little bit more accessible. So if you're interested in technology at all and haven't heard of Wired, it is a really cool magazine, I think. And Eileen, let's go back to you. You have another pick for us.
Well, this is a title that we get asked about all the time at the reference desk. And it's The Economist. And if you guys are a fan of international news, business, politics, you've probably heard of The Economist. And this is a hugely valuable thing that we offer for people who are really into getting deep down in issues that affect people all over the world. And I'm very glad that we have The Economist, because it's definitely something that I've heard people ask for.
I think it's one of those resources that I feel like I should be able to understand better than I do, but it's definitely one of those things that we do get asked about a lot, like you said. Carrie, you have another one for us.
Yeah, National Geographic. I grew up with National Geographic in the household. I think it's part of the reason why I love to travel so much. But National Geographic, they have various editions for all ages. They do have a kids edition. They also have National Geographic in Chinese on RB Digital, which is a great resource to have because we have, I think, over 18 languages represented in RB Digital. And this is one of those instances. But it covers science, it covers travel, it covers environmental articles as well. So it's a pretty broad range of topics. And the photos in there are just kind of stunning. So,
well, I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the really cool things about RB Digital is, as we were looking for different titles in our system, I looked up National Geographic to get ready for this, and I noticed they have National Geographic Italia, which, you know, is different content, obviously in Italian, but if that's something that interests you, they have Italian, they have Spanish, like you said, 18 different languages represented. So hopefully that might be of interest to others as well. It might also be a good resource if you're trying to learn a second language. Maybe you're interested in knowing more about Italian and you want to use this to kind of brush up, see what your comprehension is on it. I think that's a great way to use it as well. Okay, and finally, who could mention magazines without mentioning the queen of all media, Oprah? I asked my wife, I said, what magazines do you like to read? And she went right to Oprah. Not a magazine that I've picked up myself, but definitely something that my wife and many, many others are interested in. Once again, a broad range of topics. I think they touch on something different every single month. And of course, we always get to see a picture of Oprah on the cover every single month. That's the other thing I think is interesting about this magazine. It's always her. But a very kind of positive magazine in general, I think, as well. So if you're interested in Oprah or The Economist or Newsweek or any of the range of magazines that we have mentioned today, please check out RB Digital. And if you're interested in contacting us to learn a little bit more about what we have, you can call the number on the screen, 617-376-1102. Go to thomascranelibrary.org. Or you can also catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And I'd like to thank Eileen and Carrie both for joining me today to talk about RB Digital. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Bye.
Bye.